think we are online. So good afternoon. Our next, sorry, our latest devlog is about to start. Was planning to do it yesterday, but we are still going through a bunch of conference meetings, so it has to be today. So let's get started. As you might see from the title below the visual area, that the weather is kind today, meaning we actually have somewhat realistic range system. Um, I don't know if it's skipping frames during the stream, but at some point when it rains, you are going to see the raindrops. Unlike before, I don't want to click this rain button to start the rain. It actually is supposed to start randomly. However, that randomization is going to be done in a way that is accurate with the historical data with some kind of randomization, and I'll talk about that. I'm just hoping that the rain may start soon. In the meantime, maybe I can show you the wind direction for the grass. Let's put it here. So depending on the wind direction, the grass moves according to the wind direction and the speed. We don't have the speed display yet. That's what we are working out. Um, So this actually looks like there's still like sun moving in a certain angle, but the shadows are a little bit too imprecise. Let me actually start the game again because I think before I saw weather values. Okay, coincidentally, rain started, and I also want to talk about this shadow moving. You might be wondering what that is. That's essentially the clouds up above moving. So right now there's actually sun shining through. There isn't much cloud, and there is actually some here. You see the shadow of the clouds cast on the ground. So maybe now we can also take a look at this direction of wind and how it affects uh, the grass leaves. So yeah, this week we've been busy with weather system. Um, Maybe in the next streams I will enable the game sound so you guys could hear it. But right now I'm hearing thunder and it's raining heavily. Um, so maybe I'll actually broadcast next time too. So we are also working out the transition on and off for the thunder, so that it's actually, let's say, before you see the rain, maybe you get to hear the thunder first, and then rain comes after. And we are simulating here in this little corner as it's raining. Well, it just started raining right now, but when it was raining, we had the puddle growing. So this is just a test area for us to see how much water accumulation there will be throughout the garden. And right now, it's not raining, so the surface is drying. So we are working out test cases. Let me see what else we have done. Rain system, clouds, thunder. I have talked about that. Water puddle. We also just looked at it too. Start to rain again, so it's growing. I think now is a good segue into the randomization. So we have, this is not the historical data, but this is sort of the average rainfall, the distribution of rain over months, that sort of thing. There are other websites with historical data. Either way, this is close enough for demonstration purposes. So let's look at these two charts here. This is for Toronto. This is the kind of stuff we want to put in the game, that we will let the player choose different cities, and each city may have a different rainfall pattern. For Toronto, you can see that we have fewer rainy days in July and August. However, uh, in terms of precipitation, um, maybe July isn't that bad, but in August, although we have fewer days of rain, we actually have a lot of rainfall. So that means um, maybe the number of days it rains is, yes, like fewer than the other months of the year, but maybe it actually rains longer hours. Therefore, there's more accumulation. And it is actually true that we have thunderstorm and really heavy rainfall in July and August. And then in May, um, although we seem to have the same amount of rainfall in August, the difference between May and August in terms of number of days of rain, May actually has, like, we see more rainy days. So it's kind of distributed over many days than August. So we are actually going to present, apply this data to our game. That in the game you should be seeing heavy rainfall in August, maybe lighter rain but longer days of rain in May. So the way we want to achieve that, I think this might be a creative solution for developers out there, but at least the players may see how it's done. And we are trying to keep these devlogs uh, enticing for developers, but also we want to get the players interested in the game as well. So maybe you'll let us know which city you're in, and then maybe we'll look at the data. If there's some interesting thing going on, maybe that will be a candidate. So this is a simplex noise represented in 3D. Essentially, this graphic is something like a bunch of, maybe let's say this one, bunch of black values and white values and between tones, gray values. So if you think the white values are uh, higher and then the black values are lower, if this was a surface, then this is what you would get, and you would put color codes depending on how tall the spot is. So we want to use something like this for weather system. So it may look confusing first, but we already have something like this that already resembles like valleys and peaks. So it's as if each one of these is sort of like a section here. You cut this, you took a section here, you would actually have ups and downs, and then that pattern is repeated. So we want to use some kind of computer randomization mixed with this data, so that when you multiply this with some random value like this, you're essentially going to push some values corresponding here in here, like even higher. So that will actually give you the realistic condition with some kind of randomization, because maybe this shouldn't always be at this value. This should be maybe slightly higher and slightly lower every year you play the game. So maybe next year when you play the game in November, you'll have a drier month, that sort of thing. So we could accomplish that with random value like this mixed with the real climate data. Um, on that note, one last thing. Actually, no, this is a separate topic. We have also started um, localization, let's say. Um, see if I can actually. I think I forgot how to change the. But we are now keeping a file where we have the English text, Spanish text, and Japanese text. So we could actually do language switching runtime. We noticed that the font we are using doesn't have the glyphs for Japanese text. Um, maybe some of our viewers are more experienced in that domain. If you could let us know what fonts are typically used for certain alphabets, especially the Eastern Asian alphabets, Chinese, Korean, Japanese. We are using Source Sun Pro for the rest of the languages. So we have the beginnings of localization. I think try one more time here. And I need to change the language setting here. I think that's an under editor. Language. Not sure if this is the right way of doing. I think that there was a different way of doing this. At least that's how Jordan showed it to me. I'd be doing this completely wrong. But well, at least we are now showing the Spanish. Something is working, at least. This one has no Spanish translation, so we'll take care of cases. And so that will only get better. And so that's it for today. And next week, we may even start having our longer dev streams. I think this week I'm also going to skip that too because really very busy with conference meetings. I've met lots of great business people. This game is gonna get a lot of love, localization and art wise. Your comments are always welcome, and let us know. And thank you for your time, and see you next week. Bye bye.